Yes.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a point of order?
Sure.
I'd like to make a request of both you and the audience. I know it's a hallowed tradition in Richmond City Council lore for everybody to applaud after everybody speaks, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time.
Wait a minute. Out of order.
And
Out of order.
this is a
It's a point of order. He's asking for a request.
This is a public meeting. It's not a talent show.
So.
And I would like to say that I've talked to a large number of mayors over the last several days, and Richmond apparently is unique in having this tradition of everybody applauding after every speaker. So if you all think this is a great idea and a good thing, that's fine. But I just want to say I don't think it's a good idea.
So I
think we ought to hear what people have to say, and we ought to move on to the next speaker.
So what I'd like to do is ask
And
for everyone.
if you like doing a talent, if you'd rather have this be a talent show,
All right.
you have an opportunity to do that.
All right,
somewhere.
your point of order was heard. I would like to ask the audience, it will make our meetings go more quickly, to hold your applause after everyone has spoken, then we can have an applause. We know there are a lot of people here for the building trades issue. A lot of building trades people, after everyone has spoken, there has been applause already. I would like to ask that the audience holds your applause for the sake of moving this meeting forward. All right. It's not going to happen. Go ahead, City Clerk.
Margaret Hanlon Grady.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. My name is Margaret Hanlon Grady. I'm the Executive Director of
If you could pull it a little closer, please.
How's that? I'm Executive Director of the Contra Costa AFL-CIO Labor Council, but I'm speaking as a Richmond resident tonight. I am looking forward to bringing back this EIR on the Richmond Modernization Project to the Council for review. I'm looking forward to thousands of new jobs, local jobs. We're interested in strengthening and expanding our partnership, the labor partnership with Chevron, and hope that you'll help us with that. And we'll be back and participating in the public comment process, and know that you have some serious deliberation to do. We know you'll be thoughtful and use your full skill set in that. So thank you, and if we can be of help, please give us a call.
Okay. Next speaker, please.
Greg Free.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Greg Fury, and I'm here on behalf of the Contra Costa Building Trades. We're made up of 30 construction trades unions and over 35,000 men and women. And these men and women is what you see in the crowd here. About 3 years ago, we had 1,446 men and women working at the Chevron renewal project. And through no fault of their own, these people got laid off. People in this room were laid off. And this happened a month and a half before Christmas. It impacted families, children, and they suffered. This is not going to happen again. We're here to make sure that this EIR goes forward. It's perfect. All the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. Our attorneys are looking at it to make sure this thing is perfect. And we want to see this thing done in a timely manner so we can put these men and women in this room to work right now. Thank you.
So, yes.
Madam Mayor, may I, again, a point of order. I'm just wondering that if the chair makes a request of the audience, then isn't it the audience's responsibility to comply with the chair's request?
So, all right, wait a minute. I would like to put this to a vote of the council for today's meeting. Since we have such a large amount of people, I am going to move that we require the audience to hold off on their applause. Is there a second? All right, let's take a vote.
Madam Mayor, on the motion. May I speak on the motion?
Yes. Yes.
First of all, this is still the United States of America with the mafia.
I would like to call, if there isn't
and that-
quiet in
and
this chamber, I will call a recess.
Hey, and
eventually I will clear
I think
the
you need
chambers.
to ask the city attorney, do we legally have a right to prevent individuals from expressing themselves? This is not Germany, this is not Russia.
All right, let's ask the city attorney for his response.
I mean, if the people want to volunteer to do that, but I don't think we can legally tell people they cannot applaud.
Mr. City Attorney, point of information to the City Attorney. Mr. City Attorney, before you answer that question, remember, when the RPA was in this audience cheering and clapping, they said it was okay. So I want to make sure you remember what you're going to say today so that we make it fair for everybody. So we want to be fair with every person. So remember what you told us. Because I know what you said. They have the right to
All right,
clap.
council member, I would like to ask the city attorney to answer the question. The motion was made for today's meeting that we require the audience not to applaud, and I will say that is for the entire meeting. After the open forum, after an item, all the public comment is heard, if people want to applaud, that's fine, but not after every speaker. City attorney, do we have the right to require that?
The legal test is whether or not members of the audience are disrupting the meeting. That's the legal test. It's been in all of the federal court cases out here in our circuit, the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit, which is the Court of Appeals, has dealt with it extensively. Of course, it's not an easy call as to what constitutes disruption. If someone, for example, is at the dais and is speaking and other people in the audience, because for whatever reason, maybe they don't like what she's saying, start yelling and shouting to drown her out. Well, that's disrupting the meeting, of course. There are other cases. There's a famous case where Mr. Norse in Santa Cruz gave a Nazi salute at the dais. Well, not people don't tend to really like that. Brings up all kinds of images that we don't want to have. But ultimately, the Court of Appeal, Federal Court of Appeal, said no. In and of itself, that's not disruptive. So the question here is, how do we balance? How does the mayor, as the presiding officer, ultimately the council, but it's the mayor's not only her right but her duty to conduct the meeting? How does she balance people's rights to actually express themselves, while on the other hand making sure that we have an orderly meeting? Because the federal courts absolutely recognize that public agencies, cities, have a right to have an orderly meeting. So I think that's a long way of saying, because I wanted to give you the context, is I would really hope, I would offer advice to the council, and hopefully the other people would be listening. But keep in mind, disruption is the test. Let's let the meeting go on. Please do not disrupt the meeting. Let the speakers go on, and then I think we'll be fine.
Okay,
So
excuse me, no, wait a minute. I am the determinant of what disrupts the meeting. Hold on a second, let me speak. Let me speak, please. Now, I, at this point, am not going to move that motion. Do not clap. I am not going to move that motion because I do not determine it to be disruptive at this point, but I am once again going to ask people to keep it down. I would respectfully ask you not to applaud, because we can go from speaker to speaker, hear what you say, listen, digest what you say better. So I'm going to ask that the audience, once again, I'm not going to move the motion, but let's go on to the next speaker.
Madam Mayor, as a point of order, I want to make a motion, even though you didn't, that this council votes on. These people are clapping after people speak. So therefore, I want to make a motion. I want you guys to vote. If they clap after a person speaks, that's fine. They're not disrupting while they're waiting for the next person to come up. That's a motion I make. I want you to vote on it. That's my motion. that they can
No.
clap after the person speaks.
Again, I have stated, and the
You
city
can't
council,
overrule me, Madam
and the
Mayor.
city council,
I put
we're
a
going
motion
on
on
to
the
the next
board.
speaker. I did not hear a second. Let's go on to the next speaker.
I don't have a second?
No.
Madam Mayor.
Let's go on to the
Madam
next
Mayor?
speaker.
Madam Mayor.
Do you have the point of order?
No, I'd like to second the motion. I'd like to speak on it.
I would say you can second the motion, but I can tell you that it is not going to matter because the determination is going to the determination of when clapping, shouting, whatever gets disruptive is my responsibility, and we can't simply
And Madam Mayor, I'd like to speak briefly on this.
go ahead.
We have a lot of people here today, and we have council members, including myself, who think it's frankly embarrassing that we can't get through our agenda. I have an item later tonight that makes a bunch of changes so we can hear items. So I am the biggest proponent in the world of getting through our meetings. But I think, and I understand yours and Councilmember Butt's intentions, and they're great, but I would argue it's counterproductive. And the reason why is because we have about 19 people, Madam Clerk?
29.
We have 29 people signed up to speak here. We have probably, hearing from the clapping, somewhere around 50 or 60 or 70 people who are here to show their support. If we shut them down from clapping, from showing their support that way, guess what? They're probably going to sign up. And then our meeting will last a lot longer than it is right now. So I think I'm all in favor of people being able to complete their statements without having people calling out in the audience or applauding during that. But I think after somebody's speaking, when somebody is coming up to the podium, we're not doing anything anyway, I think it's appropriate to allow the audience to applaud during that time. Thank you.
All right, Council. All right, one more time. Like I said, I don't want to have a discussion here. I have not called any clapping out of order. I am not moving the item forward. The item that was mentioned is not is the motion that was put forward is not necessary because I have not called anything out of order. If I call something out of order and somebody chooses to overturn me, they perfectly are willing to do that. Let's go.
There's a motion on the floor.
Go ahead, Councilmember Butt. I guess we're going to hear this motion.
You know,
Go ahead.
I agree totally with what the city attorney said, that everybody has a right to come up and speak and say whatever they want to, whether it's a Nazi salute or calling out people on the city council or whatever they want to do. That's everybody's right. That's the right of the speakers have a right to do that. What I'm concerned about is everybody in this audience has a right to sign up and speak, but the question is, do you also have a right to holler, hoot and holler and clap after every speaker? I just don't think it adds anything to the meeting. Do you think people up here are impressed with that and are going to change their mind because you do that? It's not going to happen.
All right, we're going to
Frankly,
move the motion.
let me finish this, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm not going to participate in a meeting where this happens. I'm not going to participate in a meeting I'm not going to participate in a meeting where
Officer, please.